How do I interest myself in God and Judaism? Sometimes I just don't care. Of course you don't care. You're not a tzaddik. So if you're shocked that you sometimes don't care, maybe you're living in La La Land. Of course sometimes you don't care. It's his mitzvahs. It's his world. He created it. He needs a dira b'tachtainim. So sometimes you're not going to care because it's not your plan, it's not your world, it's not your mitzvah. The chidush is, can a human being who's not too smart and not too holy, can a human being care about the Eibishter and what the Eibishter cares about? Twice a day, can you do a mitzvah just because he wants you to? Twice a day, can you say to the Eibishter, now I'm going to do what you want? Can you do that? That's amazing. That's called Avodas Hashem. Avodas Hashem means a few times a day, can you take a break from yourself and do what the Eibishter wants? Listen to this. People complain that if you're frum, you're a robot. You don't know why you're doing it. Nobody gives you explanations. Nobody explains anything. Just do it. What, like a robot? If the Eibishter didn't give us mitzvahs, we would all be robots. Because everything you do, you're programmed to do. I mean, if you eat breakfast, you're not a robot? You're a robot. Everybody eats breakfast. Every single day people eat breakfast. The question is only when. 6 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Everybody eats breakfast. It's a robotic thing. You're going to get into a fight with your mother because you're a robot. Everybody does that. Everybody gets upset when their mother tells them to do something. You're such a robot. Your behavior is so predictable. You're going to get into a fight with your friend, and then you're going to get depressed, and then you're going to sleep late, and then you're going to get... It's so... You're such a robot. The only exception, the only time you're not a robot is when you do something that the Eibishter wants and you don't want it. If you can do something you don't want, you stopped being a robot. If you're doing something you don't need, you stopped being a robot. If the Eibishter never gave us mitzvahs, we would have only one choice, and that is to be a robot, like everybody else. So when people say, I'm not going to be frum anymore, I'm going to be myself. Yeah, exactly. You're going to be yourself, like everybody else, like a robot. No, now I'm making choices. No, now you have no choices. Without Yiddishkeit, you have no choices. You're going to eat, and you're going to fight, and you're going to be depressed, and you're going to be happy, and it's all so predictable. The only time you're not a robot is if you do something for someone else that you don't need. And that someone else should be the Eibishter. Does this make sense? Like, a non-religious Jew is a robot or he's not a robot? Because he does whatever he wants. Is he a robot or not? Huh?
He's not.
He's not a robot because he does whatever he wants.
He doesn't have to follow.
He doesn't have to follow any rules.
Yeah.
So what does he do instead?
His own rules.
He does whatever comes natural. That's a robot.
He's a robot.
Huh?
Robot's told what to do.
They're not told.
Robot is program.
They're programmed.
Doing what everyone else.
Right. So a human being is programmed. Human beings do human things. An animal does animal things because they're programmed.
But robots are programmed by somebody else. Humans
And
are
you're
programmed
programmed by
by
Hashem,
somebody.
thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
It's not a robot. It's because you're making your own choice.
You're not making choices.
Programmed by Hashem.
You're following the program.
If you decide
You're
to take
programmed.
this
You're not
business
programmed.
instead of that
You're
business, it's your choice.
Say what?
If you decide to take this career path instead of that career path, you decide to have this type of thought instead of that type of thought, it's not being a robot.
Of course it
It's
is.
a choice.
No. You have to have a career and you have to have fun.
But it's different careers. Different
That's not a choice.
It's your taste.
It's not choice.
You have a few choices. You pick which one you want.
Say, you can wear these shoes or those shoes. That's not a choice. You have to wear shoes.
You change your own life.
Huh?
You make your entire life different by one choice.
You look at the average person walking down the street in Manhattan. They all have different jobs and different shoes. They're all the same.
Also Jewish.
They're exactly alike.
But Jews are more robots than them because Jews are
All Jews are the
Like
same.
being
All
told what
the
to
same
do.
thing. Just like not just they have mitzvahs and
No.
We're following we're programmed by like a Torah. We have the
programmed
Torah
by
telling us what to do. We have
Being told what to do means you're not programmed.
Yeah, it's a robot.
No. If you need to be told to do it, then you were not programmed.
You have the option to do it now.
The Eibishter never tells you to eat breakfast because you're going to do it anyway. If the Eibishter tells you to eat matzah, it's because you don't eat matzah. You're not programmed to matzah. So if it's not a mitzvah to eat matzah, you're not going to do it. So the Eibishter doesn't tell you to go to the bathroom because you're going to do it. You're programmed. The Eibishter doesn't tell you to make a living because you're going to do it. You're programmed. Every mitzvah means this is not part of your program. That makes sense? Look, the Eibishter created human beings, and for 2,000 years, he just let them be human. 2,000 years later, the Eibishter said, okay, now I'm going to give you mitzvahs. Why weren't the mitzvahs given in Gan Eden to Adam and Chava? Because if they were, then that would be your program. The Eibishter said, no, you be human. I'm not telling you anything yet. Get used to being human. Get your program down. Now that you've got your program in place, now let me tell you what I need. That's the mitzvah. So mitzvahs force you to step out of your program, which is why we're not inspired to do it. Unless you care about the Eibishter. That's not a robot. Caring is not a robot. Bechira means you're not programmed. Where do you have Bechira? Only in mitzvahs. So basically, your nefesh habahamis is programmed. The nefesh elikis is not. I mean, the nefesh elikis is programmed, but listening to your nefesh elikis is not your program. It's your mitzvah. That's your bechira. Make sense? That's why there's no isser, for example, there's no commandment that says don't get sick. You can't have such a mitzvah. Because if you get sick, you get sick. You can't do anything about it. You can't have a mitzvah that says don't get pneumonia. What do you mean don't get pneumonia? That's part of the program. Everything the Eibishter tells us to do, we are free to do it or not do it because it's not part of the program. So for example, if a person kills another person, is he normal or is he sick? He killed somebody? Boy, the guy's sick. Killing is not sick. Human beings have the option to kill or not to kill. If it was a sickness, then it can't be an Aveda. Like even in the secular courts, if you plead insanity, then you can't be punished. Because if you're Meshuggah, you're Meshuggah. Then you have no mitzvahs. So the Eibusha says, don't kill anybody. That means if you kill, you're normal. But bad. But if every murderer is basically a Meshuggah, then it's not an Aveda anymore. An Aveda can only be something that is normal, but the Eibusha doesn't like it. So if a person is homosexual, is it a sickness? If it's a sickness, then he's potter. Then there's no sin. Which means a person can be homosexual and healthy. Then it's an Aveda. If it's a sickness, it's not an Aveda. So when the Torah says, don't do it, that means that normal, healthy people could do it and they shouldn't. Make sense? Yes, no? Huh?
The first time.
Huh?
It's only the first time, but afterwards it becomes a chain and it never ends.
I mean, it can make you sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And then what?
An Aveda can make you sick.
Yeah, and once you want to get out of it,
Then you need help because you can't take yourself out. Then you need a doctor, you need something.
it's not okay.
So, the answer to the question, how do I interest myself in God and Judaism when sometimes I just don't care? You're born not caring. The question is, can you get yourself to a higher place? So when you don't care, that's not a shock. That's how you're born. Avodas Hashem means grow from your natural robot condition to something better.